My name is Bibeault. I'm running for Senate District 22, which is all of Smithfield and part of North Smithfield. And the reason I'm running is I watched the General Assembly, and that is definitely where our problem is. I used to say that the General Assembly spends money like a bunch of drunken sailors, but that's unfair to drunken sailors because they're spending their own money. My representative, John Tassoni, I watch his votes quite often, and he votes for everything that makes government bigger, more spending, more union jobs. He's there basically working for the union, not for us. There's two other union employees there. Chacombe makes $171,000 a year. He works for a union. He's on the Senate Labor Committee. We have Dominic Ruggiero, makes $180,000 a year, working for a union. He's on the Senate Labor Committee. So anything that's pro-business in the General Assembly gets referred to the Senate Labor Committee, where it dies. My representative, Mr. Tassoni, was given his own chairmanship of the Municipal Government Committee. So now the leadership has two committees in the Senate that they can refer bills to that they want to die. So that's basically the reason I'm running. In Rhode Island, the two biggest problems we have are municipal employee unions and the social welfare programs. Those are the two biggest budget items that we have to cut. You can start anywhere. You can cut everything. There isn't a single item in state government that couldn't be cut. We have a pension system that has to be privatized. It's unfunded right now to the tune of $6 billion. It has a liability of about $12 billion, and it's funded for about $6 billion. Now I know when you talk about, John's up here talking about trillions, and we're only talking about billions, but this is a state of only 1 million people. We can't afford it. Taxes are so high, people are going to Massachusetts to shop. That 7% sales tax was a temporary tax to pay for DEPCO. And we have Sheldon Whitehouse to thank for that. He was in charge of coming up with that to bail out DEPCO. And it was supposedly temporary. Of course, the federal income tax was temporary to pay for World War I also. The other issue is the social welfare programs. I'm a pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for 33 years. There is so much fraud and abuse in the social welfare programs. I used to work at CVS in Woonsocket, and this is one story that I'll never forget. I had some woman come in. She wanted to get 6 months supply of her medicine. She had 6 or 8 medicines. She wanted to get 6 or 8 months supply. And I told her, the limit was you could get 1 month supply at a time. So, needless to say, 2 hours later, I get a call from a social worker from the state that says that I have to give her 8 months supply of her medicines. And you know why she wanted 8 months supply of her medicines? No, she was spending the winter in Hawaii. And this is the kind of thing that goes on over and over again. I'm sick and tired of supporting people that aren't responsible. I'm not going to subsidize people for being irresponsible anymore. I will not take any campaign contributions from unions.
Yes.
I think look at the General Assembly. 43% of the 43 members of the General Assembly either work for unions, are union members, or their spouse is a union member, or they have a vested interest in seeing the union membership increase. And that's the biggest growing population of union workforce. It's government employees. It's like 30-something% of government employees are union members, whereas in the private sector, I think it's hit the lowest point that it has in the last 40 years. I don't think we need pension reform. I think we need the pension replaced with a 401k system. You know how the pension system works in Rhode Island? Your pension is based on your last 3 years' pay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We have legislator Phil Martin, who's been in the General Assembly for 18 years. Now I believe he's running for Attorney General. So if he gets that office, he's going to have 4 years at the Attorney General's pay. And that's gonna boost his pension by probably about $45,000 every year for the rest of his life. And he's paid in peanuts because he's been paying based on his General Assembly salary. And I think that was part of the reason why they made general officers 4 years. Because if they were in for 4 years, they could appoint all their buddies into those high-paying $100,000 a year plus jobs, and that's what their pension would be based on. So you have people, like you say, you have people that have put in $40,000, $50,000 over their working history with the state, and they're collecting $70,000 a year pensions. And if, on your way out, if you want to look at my truck, I have a little bracket around the license plate. It says Rhode Island, the pension state. Well, the first thing you have to do is get rid of that legislative grant slush fund that the leadership has. If they can reward people in the Senate or the House, if they go along with a certain vote, they'll get a $1,000 check for the Boy Scouts or the Little League in their town. It's just a slush fund to keep the representatives in line.
That's my money.
It is your money. But
That's my money.
the bottom line is, the best government is the problem. It's not the solution like Reagan said. Government is the problem. The best solution is to keep the money in your paycheck and you decide how to spend it. You decide what charities it goes to. You decide what you want to fund in your city or town. But don't send it to the government and let them decide. That's what they're there for. They just want the power and control. And that's what we have to take back away from them. Well, we'd certainly like to get rid of the property tax, but I mean, government does have some legitimate functions. You do have to support those. The key is to have it as small as possible, the smallest government possible. If you came up with a different formula where it was some kind of revenue sharing, we could get rid of property tax, that would be fine. I think property tax is almost, basically I think property tax is unconstitutional because it's basically taking your property without reimbursing you. It's kind of like an eminent domain issue. My basic political philosophy is libertarian, so we would probably get rid of almost all taxes and use primarily user fees and voluntary contributions. If you use the roads, you pay a use tax on the roads. We do that with the gasoline tax. If you want your trash pickup, you pay a fee for trash pickup. Basically a smorgasbord where you can decide what you want, what services of government you want, instead of the system we have now where they take 45% of your paycheck and then they decide what they're going to give to you. If there's a better funding formula than property taxes, I'd be very interested in seeing it. Well, in most towns, the school committee gets 60 to 80%. You said your town's 88?
82 to 88, somewhere around there.
% of the town budget. And because basically the school committee can get whatever they want. No elected official can cut their budget. They can, if they don't get what they want in Rhode Island under the Carullo Act, they can sue the town and get whatever they ask for. You're looking at me like you've never heard of that.
Yeah, she's from work, I'm sure she has.
We gotta get rid of all these state mandates. I would suggest we repeal all the state mandates, and if it's truly something that has to be statewide, the state should provide the funding for it. That would cut down on a lot of problems in the schools. What else could we do with the schools? Privatize them all.
Yes.
If the state gave a voucher system to every parent for every student, and then the student could go anywhere they wanted, and then you wouldn't have to pay that 60 or 88% of your property tax to the school department. That would go away. So it would cut 60 to 88% of your property tax right there.